Today's video will blow your mind. Hailing sold her daughter's furniture, realizing she received no love. The police chief heard about it and suspected Xiao might be the opportunist. I've hunted down a ton of jobs, officer. No need for you to crash this party. Chief, that cash isn't our style, totally not a comedy caper. Over half the kids face a dead end. Failing to find the culprit in a day, success is as rare as lottery wins only 10. Jack won't let them take this hot potato. This totally messes with the police rhythm, but he can't stop the family from hiring a private eye. If they really nose out new clues, the cops are ready to send a helping hand. Xiao hits up the bar where Hailing mingles and bumps into an old buddy. But as it, Hailing brings her daughter around here while he's hanging out with some two-timing friends. On the night of the incident, he wasn't being horror movies, but enjoying some fresh goods with his. No wonder he won't cooperate with the police. Xiao's boyfriend seems suspicious too. Xiao gives the clue to police, and Jack dispatches seasoned Rami and Nick for help. But they suspect Owen, the romantic scammer, as the culprit. On Amanda's disappearance day, Avi also went missing. Rumor says he's tight with the double-faced couple. The three may hide locally, but those three might not even know Hailing. If it's a familiar face at play, Xiao's lead could be a goldmine. This impresses Rami. Before interrogating Hailing, Xiao runs into his buddy, Little Fatty. Shunky doesn't recognize the trio in the photo, but he knows a thing or two about Xiao. Xiao delivers for dealer Nolu, often involved in illicit dealings. After Rami's intense questioning, Hailing finally reveals Amanda's link to Nolu. She admits to helping Nolu with delivers, which triggers a memory for Rami, who heard that Nolu had some cash elegantly snatched away recently. Could it be Hailing and her two-faced boast prank? Under pressure, Hailing admits it. It's a staggering $130,000. That day, he and Xiao completed a deal, and soon the buyer was caught by police. Luckily, Amanda was with them. They disguised as a happy family to dodge the police interrogation. After that, they decided to pocket the cash, telling Nolu it was seized by the cops. Clearly, he picked up on the route, so he snatched Amanda to wait for them to own up and fork over the cash. That stash is now hiding at Xiao's place. Xiao asks why she claims she was scared of Nolu and didn't want to spill any secrets to the police. When they arrived at Xiao's house, they found him already resembling a ghost. Clearly, he had some castle siege interrogation sessions, but he had no idea Hailing buried the cash in the back. To avoid making waves, Rami suggests they quietly find Nolu. Cash for contacts is the way to go, and Xiao's brothers can help with that. The ordeal experienced by her boyfriend completely awakened Hailing, making her finally feel the fear of losing her daughter now. Regret comes too late. That evening, they arrived at Nala's territory. Negotiating with the drug dealer is unrealistic for cops. Xiao's involvement is better. Nolu was friendly initially, but when he learned they were there for the girl and saw two cops outside, he flew into a rage and drew his gun. He demanded to check if they were wired, and while he claimed he's tough, he would never hurt an innocent child, then booted them out. No one saw that twist coming. My regret is sending Xiao to talk. What if Nolu wasn't kidding and turned on Amanda? Xiao's got a lifetime of regrets in the make. The next day, Nolu did a 180 and called the precinct looking for Rami, saying there's a deal tonight, but there's a kicker. Calls to the precinct are recorded. The chief knows of their private talks with Nolu. Jack demanded to see them pronto, and Nolu kindly left something in Xiao's mailbox to prove Amanda was indeed in his custody. Their convo's already been documented, and if word gets out, Jack will be holding the bag. Now's not the time for blame games. Only a few can know about the deal, and later they'll think of a way to spin it to the media. Amanda's clothing had a note inside, detailing the time, place, and record. Nolu chose a deserted quarry as the drop-off site. Xiao and Angel were on East Street, Rami and Nick on West. Before the deal, Angel had a bad feeling, sensing that Nolu might pull a fast one. They arrived at the spot that night, and a shootout broke out on Rami's side, and over the radio, they learned that Nolu flipped the script and brought Amanda along to steal the cash. By the time Xiao and the gang showed up, Nolu had vanished, but Amanda seemed to have been pushed into the lake, and they spotted a doll bobbing on the surface. In a moment of panic, Angel dove right in to save the day, but all they retrieved was one of Amanda's outfits, clearly not a good sign. Everyone lost hope. After several failed salvage attempts, the court declared her dead. With no body found, her family received a coffin and wreath. Jack, surrounded by immense controversy, took an early retirement and signed off on his career with a disgraceful period. Nala's deputy was killed by robbers shortly after fleeing. Little Sweet and Angel slumped for a while. Everything seemed calm. 2 months later, a boy disappeared in the neighboring town. Little Fatty sought out Little Sweet, having asked about Owen earlier. Coincidentally, That couple had contacted Little Fatty to buy contraband, revealing their address, where Owen was likely residing. Little Sweet, full of resentment, decided to catch this lazy companion. The man saw Little Fatty delivering and quickly let them in. Little Fatty handed over a stash of trinkets, itching for Little Sweet to count the cash when both parties were careful to scope the place out, which set off alarms with the upstairs neighbor. Little Sweet noticed the charm in Owen's hand, echoing the one worn by the missing boy mentioned in the news. Checkmate, see that kid's a goner thanks to Owen. But now's not the prime time to act. Better to wait until nightfall to confirm Owen's inside with Ramai and Nick. Ramai was itching to redeem himself and jumped the gun before the SWAT arrived. Poor Nick arrived at the front door only to run into a trap. Little Sweet called for help and nearly caught a bullet in the crossfire. Hearing Ramai return fire, she dashed inside, discovering the man had already bit the dust, but the lady was lurking nearby. While Little Sweet fired back, she bolted upstairs, successfully locking the intruder out. That's when she realized she was in. All the while, Owen was locked out of the loo, babbling it was an accident and not looking to fight back at all. Little Sweet spotted a flash in the bathroom sink, revealing the missing boy dead in the tub, clearly a victim of Owen's brutality. Fueled by rage, Little Sweet threw justice into her own hands and dealt with him personally. The woman at the door died under Ramai's gun. Little Sweet wasn't hassled by police but saw Nick was in bad shape.